Hey guys, it's Elise and welcome back to My Cupcake Addiction. You guys might notice something slightly different about my surroundings today. We have a whole new kitchen. The old kitchen is gone. I moved house a little while ago and have just finished building this amazing studio kitchen. I actually uploaded a vlog style video a couple of days ago of the kitchen tour and kind of a bit about the process, but what started as 197 cartons is now this amazing kitchen and I'm so excited. It's bright, it's fun, it's colorful, and it's everything MCA. All right, so today's recipe, we're gonna be making no bake cookies and cream tart. So you guys might have seen my no bake Toblerone tart, you might have seen my no bake chocolate raspberry tart, and then we've also got the delicious no bake custard fruit tart. Today's another no bake, super easy, 15 minutes, knock it together, stick it in the fridge. Everyone's gonna love it because let's face it, who doesn't like cookies and cream? The things you're gonna need for your cookies and cream tart. I have a ton of cookies. I'm gonna leave the full recipe in the description box below, but I've got one batch of cookies here that's gonna be crushed for my base, and then I've got some more large Oreos and some small mini Oreos that are gonna be decorations. For decorations, I've also got little milk bottle lollies. You're gonna need some white chocolate, some whipping cream, and some butter. All right, let's get into it. So the first thing that we're gonna do is crush our Oreos. If I can draw your attention for a second to my incredibly cute, tiny, brightly colored mini food processor. I don't even really need it. I just love it because it's super cute. I don't think I'm gonna be able to crush enough Oreos at a time in this, so I may have to do it in batches, but it's completely worth it because it's mini. It's small but mighty. I'm very impressed with this teeny tiny little food processor. On this, guys, I don't take the cream out of the Oreos because we know we're using it for a base. I actually want the extra moisture in the mix. It's more delicious, but it also helps hold the mix on the base together a little bit more. You want to melt your butter in the microwave for about 30 seconds till it's really nice and runny. And then we're going to pour our melted butter over the top of those delicious crushed Oreos. This is always the best part. The crunchy, delicious, buttery cookie base. So even though it looked like we had a ton of Oreos there, you'll see that they kind of reduce or they shrink down a bit once the butter gets into them and soaks in. You're looking for the consistency of kind of like wet sand or very wet dirt. Actually looks a bit like very wet dirt. Beautiful. All right, we can take our tin now. I'm using a long one. You could also use a round. And you just want to scoop your mixture into the tin. It's going to look like there's a ton, but when we flatten it down, it will actually be perfect. All right, this is where you get to get kind of messy. So I'm just gonna squish in, and as I squish in, I'm pushing that mixture all the way up so that it's coming over the top of the sides so that it's firmly compacted against those sides. The sides are actually more important than the base or the middle, and they need to be really, really nice and tightly packed. Make sure that it's super compacted, so really tight on that base. I like to use a jar or the bottom of a cup or a mug just to really press it down. And then you want to take a knife. When you use your knife, you want to be cutting away from the pan so the cookie actually falls on the outside. This will save you breaking any of the wall, but it'll also give you a really nice, neat top. All right, so that one goes off into the fridge for no exact time, just until we're ready to put our filling in. So off into the fridge it goes. While that guy's chilling out, we can make our filling. So I'm going to pour my whipping cream over my white chocolate. It's essentially like the milk component of our milk and cookies tart. And then that goes into the microwave. I'm gonna put it in just on 30-second intervals until that chocolate's completely melted, stirring in between each 30-second interval. All right, so this is what we're looking for. You've got like a really nice, smooth river of white chocolate and cream. It's gonna be a little yellow, don't worry about that. When it sets up, it sets white again. That's just the cocoa butters and things in the melted white chocolate. So I've taken about 10 of my Oreos and broken them roughly in half. The rest in my smaller bowl, I'm gonna break into like kind of little chunks, so about that big, and they're going straight into this mixture. They're the cookies in the cream for the cookies and cream. We got cookies inside, we got cookies on top, we got cookies on the bottom. Ultimate cookie tart. I didn't crush these because they're gonna look so much cuter as big chunks of cookie in there. If I crushed them and stirred them through, they would really just look kind of like brown flecks of dirt. Not as attractive. And again, I'm gonna leave the recipe down below, but if you want more cookies, you use more cookies. If you want less cookies, you can take this down a bit. This is as much or as little cookie as you guys want. All right, perfect. So that's kind of stirred through. It's looking pretty good. Now we gotta get our tart base out of the fridge. Whenever you're making a no-bake tart also, you want to consider you need to have a removable base in it because no-bake bases are really fragile, so you won't be able to get it out of the pan if you don't have one of those little pop-up kind of removable bases. In goes our delicious cookies and cream filling. Even distribution of cookies. We don't want anyone getting ripped off with no cookies in their cookies and cream slice. Just fill your tart to the very rim or just slightly below the very rim. You can see I've got a teeny tiny bit left over. That can go off into a cup and refrigerate, and that can be for me for later. But don't overfill that because we don't want any of that mixture going over the sides. And it's gonna depend on how many cookies you put in there and how thick your cookie base is, how much you compact it. So you might have a little too much. You certainly don't wanna have not enough. I'm gonna decorate mine with little mini Oreos all over it because they're cute and they kind of look a little bit like Oreo polka dots. I'm gonna separate them out with some of my milk bottles. So with my little dots in place, I kind of want those little milk bottles propped up a little bit. This is where your broken Oreos come in. Just take small pieces and if you need to, just place them underneath slightly under some of your little milk bottles just to help prop them up so they're kind of half standing, looking like they're balancing on the cookies. Kind of three-dimensional. That is our cookies and cream no bake tart. You want to put that in the fridge for 3 hours before you cut and serve. When you want to pull it out of the tin, once refrigerated, all you need to do is grasp the two ends while pressing up with my fingers underneath in that removable base. Be very delicate with it, and I don't recommend taking it off the removable base. I would cut it and serve it still on that removable base. It just gives it a bit of extra support. If you use a really hot knife to cut, you'll get beautiful clean lines and you'll see layers of cookie base, cookie chunks, and beautiful white ganache with our delicious toppings on top. I hope you guys have enjoyed today's no bake tart. I love desserts that you can whip up in 15 minutes, stick them in the fridge, forget about them, and serve them when people come around. Have an awesome day, and thanks very much for tuning in to My Cupcake Addiction.